Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm Claire, in case for some reason this is your first video. A bit of a weird title, bit of a weird concept I guess, but it is something that I was looking for information into and I thought that maybe someone else might be in a similar boat. As you might know, if this is not your first video, I am in the process, very heavily in the process of converting all of my plants, or the majority of my plants, into some form of hydroponics, semi-hydroponics, passive hydroponics system setup. Now before that I had a fairly loose, chunky soil mix. So it did contain soil, it had bark, it had perlite, it had charcoal. I do have a video on that if you are interested in soil. But something that I did with pots when I got them is I would either create drainage holes for them. Many of the pots that I bought did not come with drainage holes, so I bought them from Kmart, a couple I bought from like TK Maxx, I got a couple from Adairs, like fairly not super fancy, and the majority of my pots were terracotta, which is not, from my research, is not ideal for semi-hydroponics, and terracotta does come with, I would say, fairly good drainage holes, but a lot of the ceramic, concrete, porcelain, other materials, I'm not a pot maker, either came with like a single very small drainage hole or with no drainage holes. And so I dedicated a lot of my time when I was growing in soil to drilling either extra holes or just holes full stop into these pots, because they weren't cover pots with, nursery pots inside, they were the pots. And so I have like a circular, it's a diamond tipped drill bit. It's technically for drilling through things like tiles, and most of my pots ended up having between 2 and 5 holes in the bottom of them. I did go a little bit crazy. But now coming into hydroponics, it's the opposite problem. I have all these pots, really nice pots with holes in the bottom, and I don't want to use them, I don't want to get cover pots for them, and I don't want to be reliant upon plastic, saucer dishes, partially because the cats like to drink the water, which is not good for them, and partially because it's just not as aesthetic, and it just becomes inconvenient. So I was searching for a way to undo the damage that I'd done. And if you've ever been into a store that sells pots and you pick up a pot and you check it has a drainage hole, and it does, but it has that little plastic insert. Well, I was looking for those, but I couldn't find them online anywhere, and I don't technically know what they're called. So if you have any idea, let me know, because that'll probably make my life a lot easier from now on. But I came across a random blog post somewhere in the depths of the internet. I don't have it on my phone anymore. I don't know what it was, who it was, so I'm sorry. But they suggested concrete, which sounds quite daunting, I suppose, but in essence, what I did at least was, and it seems to mostly work, is I bought a little bag of quickset mortar from Bunnings. It was like $5. I'll put it in the description below, and I pulled all of the plastic label stickers, so not the paper ones, but the plasticky ones, off a lot of my pots. So nursery pots, their labels with the barcodes on them are generally plastic. These pots behind me, their label stickers and their price stickers were plastic and whatnot. So what I did is I covered the base of all of these pots I needed to fill with these plastic sticker pots, and I mixed a little bit of this mortar and I used it to fill the holes in these pots. And according to the packet, the mortar is supposed to set in about 15 minutes, but generally I left it for at least a day, if not a couple of days, to be extra sure. And I also then sealed the holes with silicone sealant. Technically it's, for bathroom edges and stuff. And let that set. And so far, so good. I have a little bit of video footage of the completed product of the pots with the mortar concrete in them, and some of them have the silicone as well. It's not pretty because I was quite impatient. I think from now on, if I get pots with holes, I will definitely take more care. And in the leak test, and by leak test I meant when I put a plant in it and tried to fill it with water, only 2 of the maybe somewhere between 10 and 20 pots, only 2 of those leaked. And that was my fault because I didn't do a good enough job with either the concrete or the silicone or both. But just a bit of extra silicone in the gaps has definitely fixed that. And now I can use these pots again as cover pots for my semi-hydro. So yeah, that's that. If you want an actual, breakdown or tutorial or video on how I actually did it, once you get the hang of it, I think it's fairly self-explanatory. But I guess I wanted to let you know that if you do decide to go down that hydro path like I have, it does not mean that you have to say goodbye to your beautiful cover pots with holes in them. Though I haven't found a way to use terracotta pots in hydro yet because they're a little bit too porous. But yeah, that's this week's video. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know.